I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. It's Monday, July 6th, back after a three-day holiday weekend. Where we left it Thursday afternoon, I think, was news of the Republican House and Senate caucuses issuing statements that seemed to urge Asa Hutchinson to somehow take more action to do something to stop this terrible U.S. Supreme Court ruling that permitted same-sex marriages throughout the United States. The governor himself, late Thursday afternoon, after the close of business for us, issued a statement that said that while he had the same degree of unhappiness that they did about the same-sex marriage ruling, that there was nothing he could do to stand in the way of the rule of law. That is, county clerks had to issue marriage licenses. There's really not much doubt about it. Well, this made, among others, Senator Jason Rapert of Conway very unhappy. He wrote some letters to other colleagues, all the senators and other people, saying how much he was unhappy with Asa Hutchinson after all the good work he'd done for him. He also wrote a letter to Jeremy Hutchinson, the governor's nephew and a member of the Arkansas Senate, repeating this thing and saying, didn't the governor know that the president of the Southern Baptist Convention had said civil disobedience was in order? Jason Rapert seems to think the Baptist Convention ought to be running public policy in Arkansas. Rapert was not very happy that he got copies of these letters and printed them. For now, it would appear that the governor is still standing by the notion that the U.S. Supreme Court is in charge of the law in the United States, not Jason Rapert, but we shall see. Another development over the weekend was great unhappiness on Jason Rapert's part that the Freedom from Religion Foundation had been successful in writing a letter to the Bradley County judge and urging him to take down a flag. It was a revolutionary flag with a pine tree on it, the legend Appeal to Heaven, that's been adopted by conservative evangelical preachers as an emblem of their battle to have evangelical type people take over the government and have government influenced by what they think religion ought to be. Perhaps we shouldn't be promoting religion on public flagpoles, although people on their private flagpoles and church flagpoles, of course, they can say whatever they want, and that's perfectly fine. The First Amendment certainly gives them that right. Asa Hutchinson has managed to come out looking somewhat like a moderate on this, but his actual actions show that he's really every bit as conservative as the rest of them. One action was Thursday afternoon when he filled 3 vacancies on the State Board of Education. 2 went to employees of 2 of the biggest backers of so-called education reform in Arkansas, the Walton and Murphy families. They can be expected to be reliable votes for the change agenda, which has sometimes included school vouchers, more charter schools, and that sort of things. But the most notable appointment was of Sharice Dean of Little Rock, the State Board of Education. She's interesting because until very recently, she homeschooled her children. She doesn't have a 4-year college degree. She works for the Arkansas Family Council, which has been identified as a hate group for its anti-gay positions. It's interesting because when the Family Council heard that Jay Barth had been appointed by Governor Mike Beebe to the State Board of Education, they said he wasn't qualified. Now, he's a PhD and a longtime faculty member at Hendrix. He knows a lot about education. What Jerry Cox really meant was that Jay Barth was gay, and Jerry Cox doesn't think gay people should be working in education. Sharice Dean works for him. She doesn't have a college degree. She doesn't have nearly the education experience that Jay Barth had, but I believe Jerry Cox thinks she's perfectly qualified for this job. In other news, Hillary Rodham, the presidential candidate, is going to be in Arkansas July the 18th to appear at a fundraising dinner for the Arkansas Democratic Party. It's a sellout, 1,500 seats at $200 a head. They're going to open up some $15 seats in the lower reaches of Verizon Arena for those who'd like to hear the speech. Don't like Hillary? A day earlier, you can go to Hot Springs and hear Donald Trump and see him try to crawfish out of his ugly statements about Latino immigrants. Elsewhere, a new survey that was released today, and I've written about on our blog. Take a look. Arkansas is number 2 in the country behind only Alaska in gun ownership. We got this news the same day that there were 6 shootings in Little Rock on July the 4th. Whether there's any correlation there or not, I don't know, but it's an interesting coincidence. The big Rock Interchange, that giant $150 million, 6 years in the process, interchange at I-430 and I-630 is going to open with a ceremony ribbon cutting Wednesday. Only in Little Rock is the completion of a highway interchange that speeds people to suburban counties. Time for the mayor and the Chamber of Commerce to get out for ribbon cutting. Seems sort of ironic or something to me. Let's see what else we've got on my list. Consult my cheat sheet here. Sorry, going to have to do that. Oh, a good read on our blog today is by Jonathan Allen, a veteran campaign reporter. Talks about the Clinton rules. And that is, when you write about Hillary Clinton in the national media today, you're just expected to be negative at every turn. Pretty good indication, I think, was the Washington Post today turning a negative spin on the fact that they've dug up the fact that Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton have given money to some brothers in times of need. Isn't that a terrible thing? Helping your brothers out with a little bit of money when they got the shorts. One piece of good news I think that's worth reporting: the Democrat Gazette and its Sunday Society pages carried a wedding announcement for a same-sex couple. I think we're very near to the point at which same-sex weddings are going to be unremarkable. They'll be just like any other weddings. And finally, this week, the Little Rock City Board of Directors has a couple of interesting things to consider on its agenda Tuesday night. For one thing, it's likely to vote to express opposition to the incorporation of Little Italy, the small community in northwest Pulaski County, which wants to incorporate primarily to get out of land use controls aimed at protecting the water supply in Lake Maumelle. And also the city board seems likely to adopt an ordinance to ban on-street solicitation of money. It's become a safety hazard and a real problem at some busy intersections around town. It might limit some legitimate charities, but it's become something of a scam with people just gathering money, jumping in from mediums and into traffic lanes to get money. I'll welcome their disappearance. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.